Hello students, I again welcome you in this new session, and in the last session we were discussing about different theories of learning, and prior to that we discussed about learning, and in the last session we discussed about behavioristic and cognitive theories. In the behavioristic we were talking about classical conditioning and operant conditioning, and then we try to understand about the cognitive theory in both the behavioristic theories as well as cognitive theory, how their conceptual framework, their principles can be practiced in the industry, and as a result of practice of these theoretical principles and frameworks, how the productivity, effectiveness and behavior of people can be aligned and synchronized with the attainment of organizational goals. We understood that. In this session we will talk about social learning theory, and social learning theory emphasizes on the role of observation, modeling and social interactions. So, the behavioristic theory emphasizes on the stimulus response reaction behavior and as a result of change in behavior, whereas cognitive theories declined that it is not the operational or mechanistic working on the environment which can result in the learning. There are certain mental processes or cognitive processes which helps the organism and individual to learn, whereas the social learning theory emphasizes that there is no need to operate on the environment or self, or it is not mandatory that certain cognitive processes are necessary for learning. The social learning theory advocates that the serious observation, serious modeling and participative and interactive involvement in the social processes can also help us learning. If we take example of babyhood, majority of the cognitive, the behavioristic, both kind of learnings happen, but majority of learning in the childhood is observational learning. Observational learning means what mama is doing, how mama is speaking, how mama is pronouncing a particular word, starting from the babbling sound to the very first word mama, mama, papa, papa, all they are learnt as a result of observational learning. And it is not only in the babyhood only, from babyhood to childhood to the teenage, then to the adulthood and up to the end of life. There are n number of situations, circumstances, phenomena which individual observes very keenly, and as a result of that the learning process happens. Or in other words, if an individual is exposed to certain kind of social functioning, and social functioning means functioning of the family, functioning at workplace, the learning how to turn a metal happens as a result of practice and observation. The trainee is keenly observing the process of metal cutting by the manual lathe operated by the turner. What this turner is repeatedly doing, the trainee can learn that. Not only that, let us take example, what kind of different activities are performed by our co-workers, by the family members, by the leaders, by the people in society. We observe them, and as a result of that observation, the learning takes place. So, individuals learn from observing others, they develop their attitudes and their outcomes. We can take example of learning of a dance. Initially, when someone is interested to learn a dance, that person will observe various dancing people through videos or in live format, and as a result of those observations, now with the practice dance can be learnt. But in the later stage, in the initial stage it was imitation, but in the later stage now the dancer can create certain kind of body movements and step which were not imitated. So, the process of social observation or observation to the personal working can result in the process of learning. Social learning theory suggests that employee can acquire new workplace skills, attitudes and knowledge by observing. So, as I gave you in the example of classic conditioning practice among organization, operant conditioning practice among organizations, and then cognitive, I gave you number of examples. Similarly, people while working on their job, observing to other and especially observing to those whom they consider as their role model or whom they consider as the best performer, they observe them. As a result of exposure to that, they observe, they acquire knowledge how something can be done. And then the action part also, how the turner tool should be moved or with what speed it should be moved, both for cutting the metal and for perpendicular and horizontal movement. So, this can be learnt by social observation also. So, social learning theory also provides valuable insights into how organizations can create a conducive environment for collaborative learning. So, for classical conditioning there is need to practice its principles, for cognitive to practice the such principles. Such principles means how people take something through the senses and what kind of perceptions they take, and then how they imagine about it, creating that kind of ecosystem. Whereas, in the social learning, what kind of environment, so that people can work collaboratively, people can not only work, rather they can learn from each other. Suppose 8 different computer operators are working on a project of similar nature and all 8 are working, and while working one is not capable to perform a specific computer operation, then by observing others that person can do the same. So, this doing is possible as a result of observational learning which has happened because of exposure to the working, and organizations can tap into power of social learning by fostering opportunities for interaction, sharing knowledge and collaborative learning, working in the team. So, social learning theory is also one of very significant theory for organizational behavior, because it can support employees for learning by observing. And the basic element of a social learning theory model are attention process. As I told you, if you are observing attentively, suppose you want to train yourself and the communication skills. So, whosoever is your role model, or you will observe certain videos, while observing you will observe attentively, you will pay full attention to that, and whatever is being observed, what kind of facial expressions, what kind of body movement, what type of body language, how the volume, pitch of voice is modulated, all that will be observed attentively, and once that is observed attentively, it will be retained in the memory. It will be retained by all the three type of skills, that is the conceptual part will be learnt, then the skill part means how that kind of voice can be created, that will be retained. So, the first part is attention process, second is retention process, and third one is motor reproduction process. Motor reproduction, let us again take example of turning with the lathe machine. An individual is turning a metal and observing and seeing how the chips of metal are being cut by the movement and synchronization of various body part, how it is done, how the hands are to be hold and how the tool is to be moved, that all will be observed, and then in the practice session similar kind of motor or physical movements will be reproduced, and this process will be reinforced as a result of reward or as a result of attainment of outcome of that activity. So, in the learning theory there is attention process, retention process, then motor reproduction, and that motor reproduction will give incentive or reward. The person attentively observed how the turning process was going on, and certain information, certain knowledge, certain skills were retained, and then while practicing, while doing the same, those motor functions were reproduced, and after number of attempts individual would be able to do in the similar way. This is incentive or reward, and then after repeated working on that, this process will be reinforced. So, this is complete gamut of social learning. Another factor or another theory which is helpful is shaping of behaviors. Shaping of behavior, as I told you, that classical conditioning helps in shaping the behavior. As I gave you example of injection given to the child, and when child is doing something nuisance and mother is giving warning that if you will not stop doing that, I will take you to the doctor and doctor will give you injection, and injection is painful. So, because of this the child want to avoid the painful activity, so will stop. This is shaping. In the operant conditioning, certain operations which will bring the pleasure, which will bring the happiness, which will help in satisfaction, which will help in bringing the equilibrium state of organism, the organism will operate for that repeatedly, but there are certain which are painful and not pleasurable, the organism will try to avoid them. So, this avoidance or this ability to do it, there can be two type of actions in this world, the actions which are pleasurable. So, for the pleasurable the organism will repeatedly do that, whereas there are certain actions which will bring pain or displeasure. So, the organism will try to abstain to do that. So, doing for the constructive and positive, abstain to do for the negative and destructive. So, the classical conditioning, operant conditioning, cognitive theory and the social theory, all these different theories helps in shaping the behavior of individual. Now, the next theory is theory of constructivism, and this theory of constructivism is another learning theory, and it is also being practiced or being used in the organizational working, which emphasizes that individuals' active construction of knowledge based on their experience, interaction and interpretations. Knowledge, skill and behavior can be imparted by transferring it and by constructing it. Transferring it means the trainer has spoon fed it, the trainer has transferred the knowledge to the trainee, whereas in the constructivism, where the trainee is constructing the knowledge, in this case the trainer will facilitate, the trainer will develop that ecosystem where the learner has opportunity to dig out the knowledge, to manage the skill and construct it by experience, interaction and interpretations. So, construction of knowledge is better. It is knowledge acquiring by listening to the people, whereas constructive learning is knowledge acquired by creating the knowledge, where the learner is in the active mode. In the case of knowledge transfer, learner is not in the active mode, learner is just observing, watching, that is all. Whereas, in case of constructive or learning, the learner is creating the knowledge as a result of experience, interaction and interpretation. The constructivity theory recognizes the importance of employing prior experience, beliefs and perspective. Creation of knowledge or creation of skill is not possible without prior understanding and knowledge of it. Basically, the seed of prior knowledge, the seed of already learnt skills will support the individual to go ahead and create the new type. Example, one of the typewriter was working with the typewriter, and there was change, computer replaced the typewriter. So, shifting from typewriting to the computer operation, if individual would not be having the knowledge of operation of typewriter, it is not possible to operate certain functions of computer, but computer functions helps you to do certain new things also. In the case of typewriter, once you have typed anything, that cannot be deleted, but in the case of computer, if you have typed something new and it is not of your use or your choice, you can delete it. So, basic knowledge, basic experience, basic belief and perspective is necessary for construction of the knowledge. Constructivism also offers valuable insights into how organization can foster employees' creativity, innovation and problem solving. It is ability of creativity which results into the innovation, and the innovative way of problem solving is effective and productive working in the present day. So, the theory of constructivism is also important in the organizational behavior by creating corporate training courses, encouraging exploration, experiment, giving chance to the employees for exploration, for experimentation, for reflection, what they have learned. From that learning, what new can be created. By giving them opportunity of enterprises, they can be supported to create and construct new things, and these new things will be helpful in doing their performance in better way. So, the theory of constructivism also helps in organizational learning. The next theory is experiential learning theory. The experiential learning theory is the employee acquire and develop new skill, knowledge and attitude by actively engaging in the real world. There is one type of research which is serendipity. Serendipity is a researcher started a project of research for a specific problem solving, but while solving the problem, something new was found, and this new was found because the experimenter, because the researcher was working on an experiment. So, experiential learning means action learning. When the employees are given opportunity to develop new skills, create new knowledge, work on the new attitudes by actively engaging in the real world. If we take example of attempting the civil services exam. In the civil services exam, there are different components of paper, and among these component, mathematics is also one of the subject. In normal course of action, there are different strategies, techniques, methods for solution of mathematical problem, but in civil services exam, the given time is lesser, and as a result of that, the long mathematical expressions cannot be practiced while attempting the civil services exam. There should be certain tricks, strategies, so that long expressions can be avoided and simple tricks can help to immediately reach to the result or outcome of mathematical problem. And this is not only in the mathematics. While working in among organizations, there might be very lengthy processes involving very complex, tedious, intricate kind of steps, and as a result of those steps, certain organizational accomplishments can be performed, but these accomplishments are time consuming. If we want to reduce the time, effort, energy, resources, money, all that, we need to go strategic, and these strategies are developed as a result of rigorous engagement in that ecosystem where the functioning is happening, and this is attained as a result of experiential learning. So, this theory emphasizes that hands-on experience provides a powerful learning opportunity while working on certain intricate activities of organizational functioning. People come to know that that certain industrial activity cannot be performed in the already prescribed format. Also, some new strategies can be intervened, and as a result of that, the industrial working can be improved, and this is possible only while working on hands-on experience. Organization can integrate experiential learning into their corporate training course to leverage the benefit of experience. So, organizations while conducting the training program as well as in the day to day working should develop that kind of environment or ecosystem where there are ample opportunities for the employees to learn as a result of experience, to learn as a result of hands on practice. So, this theory should also be practiced among them. The next theory is the humanistic theory of learning. Humanistic theory of learning means the process of fulfillment, well-being, self-actualization. And according to this theory, when employees are given autonomy, opportunities for personal development and a sense of purpose, they are more likely to motivated, engaged and satisfied. Reason being, when they are given autonomy, opportunities and for personal development, they will be self-motivated, self-engaged and better satisfied. And satisfaction is a pleasurable thing for the organism or individual. And as I told you that whatever is pleasurable, individual or organism will repeatedly do that. So, the principle of humanistic theory, humanistic principles can be practiced and those principles will help employees to improve their learning, because the humanistic approach will bring the satisfaction. So, accordingly environment and ecosystem can be developed. So, next theory is the motivation theory. Anything which is motivating the learner, anything which is pushing, which is forcing, which is generating a need will force, and that force will move the organism to accomplish. So, such an environment in the organization should be developed where the employee will feel the deficiency of that, and to fulfill that deficiency as a need, the organism or individual will move to act upon, and this activity will be productive and desired activity for attainment of organizational goal. So, this is emphasis of motivation theory. So, these are some of the theories we need to understand for learning, and again learning helps in modification of behavior, and behavior has direct relationship with the action part of employees, and actions result into the productivity, effectiveness and efficiency, which are key element of attainment of organizational goal. So, with this we are closing this session. Thanks for the patient listening, and in next session we will discuss about a new topic of organizational behavior. Thank you very much.